If you've ever found yourself wondering why your revenue fluctuates so much, why some months feel like you're drowning in expenses while others feel just fine, or why no matter how hard you work, the financial security of your practice always seems uncertain, this episode is for you. Here's the hard truth. Many medical groups are riding a financial roller coaster, completely at the mercy of insurance reimbursements, seasonal slowdowns, and shifting regulations. And the worst part? Most physicians were never taught how to avoid it. You went to medical school to learn how to practice medicine, not how to run a business. Welcome to Medical Money Matters, the podcast where you can find experts, answers, and resources so that you can achieve mastery over the financial and business aspects of your practice. Hello, everyone. I'm your host, Jill Arena. I began my career in accounting and finance, and I have more than 30 years of experience running medical groups. I own and operate a national healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company, and I am the author of Physician Heal Thy Financial Self. In 2020, I co-founded the Physician Leadership Project, and my passion is to increase financial and business literacy for physicians. Episode 119, The Revenue Rollercoaster, How to Stabilize Cash Flow in Uncertain Times. Welcome to Medical Money Matters, the podcast that helps physicians and medical group administrators take control of their financial future. Today, we're tackling one of the biggest stressors in medical practice ownership, cash flow instability. If you've ever found yourself wondering why your revenue fluctuates so much, why some months feel like you're drowning in expenses while others feel just fine, or why no matter how hard you work, the financial security of your practice always seems uncertain, this episode is for you. Here's the hard truth. Many medical groups are riding a financial roller coaster, completely at the mercy of insurance reimbursements, seasonal slowdowns, and shifting regulations. And the worst part? Most physicians were never taught how to avoid it. You went to medical school to learn how to practice medicine, not how to run a business. But the good news? There are practical solutions that can stabilize cash flow, reduce financial stress, and ensure a thriving, resilient practice. And all of it starts with diversifying your revenue streams. Today, we're going to explore why so many practices struggle with revenue instability, the risks of relying too heavily on a single source of income, and most importantly, how to build a practice that isn't just surviving, but growing. Let's start by talking about why cash flow is such a struggle for so many medical groups. A lot of practices assume that once they're up and running, revenue will follow. After all, patients need care, insurers reimburse for services, and the system should work. But the reality is far more complex. First, let's talk about insurance reimbursement delays. If you're a practice that relies almost entirely on payer reimbursements, you know the pain of waiting weeks or even months for claims to be processed. Any denial, coding error, or payer policy change can throw off your cash flow and create financial gaps. Then there's regulatory changes. Every year, Medicare adjusts reimbursement rates, private insurers tweak their fee schedules, and coding rules shift. These changes often result in lower payments for the same work, cutting into your revenue without warning. And what about patient collections? With the rise of high-deductible health plans, patients are responsible for an ever-increasing portion of their medical bills. If your practice doesn't have strong patient payment policies in place, collecting what's owed can be a challenge, and unpaid balances can pile up quickly. Another major factor? Over-reliance on a single payer or procedure. Many medical groups depend too heavily on one primary revenue source, whether it's a high-volume insurance contract, a single large employer referral base, or a particular procedure that's currently in demand. But what happens if that insurer changes policies? If referrals slow down? If reimbursement for that procedure drops or it falls out of vogue? Without backup revenue streams, the practice is left scrambling. Even seasonal slowdowns can take a toll. Certain specialties see dips in patient volume during specific times of the year. Think elective procedures around the holidays, or pediatric visits slowing down in the summer because everyone is out playing in the sun. These fluctuations can make financial planning a nightmare. And here's the worst part. When revenue instability isn't managed, the damage extends beyond the financials. It affects your team, your reputation, and even your own well-being. Let's start with your staff. When cash flow is unpredictable, payroll becomes stressful. Staff might face pay cuts, hiring freezes, or even layoffs, all of which impact morale and productivity. When employees feel financial instability, they start looking for more secure jobs, leading to higher turnover and training costs. Then there's your reputation. If a practice is financially struggling, it often shows. Longer wait times, outdated equipment, reduced services, and a general sense of instability. Patients notice when a practice isn't thriving, and that can affect referrals, reviews, and long-term patient retention. And finally, let's talk about physician well-being. Financial stress is one of the biggest contributors to burnout. When you're constantly worrying about whether your practice will be able to cover expenses, it takes a toll on your mental health. You didn't go into medicine to stress about revenue cycles. You went into medicine to care for patients. But without a stable financial foundation, even the best patient care can't sustain a practice. So why do so many physicians and medical groups struggle with business diversification? One of the biggest reasons is a lack of financial education. Most physicians weren't trained in business strategy, revenue cycle management, or financial planning. Medical school and residency focus on clinical skills, not how to run a profitable practice. As a result, many doctors don't even realize that diversifying revenue is an option, let alone a necessity. Then there's the medicine-first mindset. Many physicians believe that if they provide excellent care, the business side will take care of itself. But in today's healthcare landscape, that's simply not true. Great medicine is essential, but it's not a financial strategy. Fear is another big factor. Venturing into new revenue streams feels risky, especially for physicians who aren't familiar with business development. Whether it's cash pay services, telehealth, or ancillary offerings, many doctors hesitate to step outside of the traditional insurance model. And finally, let's be honest, time is limited. Physicians are already stretched thin with patient care, administrative work, and compliance. Finding time to research and implement new business strategies can feel impossible. But here's the good news. There are practical, manageable ways to diversify revenue and create financial stability without overcomplicating your practice. You're listening to Medical Money Matters, a weekly podcast brought to you by Healthy Practices, a healthcare consulting and revenue cycle company dedicated to keeping our clients independent. Please reach out if we can do anything at all to support your practice. You can find more information online at healtheps.com. That's www.healtheps.com. Please follow or subscribe to get all future episodes downloaded as soon as they're released. Start by looking at cash pay services that complement your existing practice. This could be weight loss programs, IV therapy, wellness memberships, or even aesthetic treatments. Cash pay services provide immediate revenue and reduce reliance on insurance reimbursements. Next, consider telehealth and remote patient monitoring. These services allow you to generate revenue beyond the walls of your practice while offering convenience to patients. Plus, many payers are now reimbursing for these services, making them a win-win. Explore clinical research partnerships. Many practices we work with participate in pharmaceutical trials or research studies, which not only provide an additional revenue stream, but also enhance your practice's reputation. Think more broadly about ancillary services. Offering in-house lab testing, imaging, durable medical equipment, or even pharmacy services can keep revenue within your practice rather than sending it to outside providers. And if you want to take it a step further, subscription-based concierge models can provide predictable, recurring revenue while giving patients enhanced access to care. The key is to start small. You don't have to overhaul your entire business model overnight. Begin by identifying 1 or 2 revenue streams that align with your specialty and patient needs, and build from there. Of course, revenue diversification is only part of the equation. To truly stabilize cash flow, you also need to create a culture that embraces financial sustainability. That means shifting your mindset from thinking like just a physician to thinking like a business leader. It means educating your staff on the importance of financial health and getting their buy-in for new initiatives. It means overcoming resistance to change and embracing innovation as a necessary part of practice growth. And most importantly, it means recognizing that you don't have to do this alone. Bringing in business and finance experts can take the pressure off your shoulders and help you implement strategies that actually work. That's where a fractional CFO or business consultant comes in. They can help you build stable, scalable, and profitable business models without losing focus on patient care. If your practice is struggling with cash flow instability, it's time to take action. You went to medical school to practice medicine, not worry about revenue cycles. Let's fix that. Reach out to us at Healthy Practices if we can help. We'd love to talk about how we can help you build a practice that thrives, not just survives. Thanks for listening to Medical Money Matters. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with a colleague, subscribe, and let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay focused on your financial health and keep practicing with confidence. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of the Medical Money Matters podcast. Before you go, let me ask you, are you ready to take your medical group's coding to the next level? Because that's where Code Mastery comes in. Code Mastery isn't just another coding program. It's the ultimate physician-to-physician training solution to maximize your revenue and empower your physicians with the skills they need to code confidently and win the coding game. From comprehensive high-octane training to actionable insights, Code Mastery gives you the edge you've been looking for. Don't leave money on the table. Visit healtheps.com/codemastery to learn more and take control of your coding today. Let's transform your practice's financial future starting now. See you next time on the Medical Money Matters podcast.